everyone. This is Vicky Schettini once again, and you are not going to believe who I have here is Michelle Bosch. She has an amazing program to share with you and what she does in regards to land. Thank you, Michelle, for being here. I am so excited to have you here.
Thank you so much, Vicky, for the opportunity to share my story and just, share with everyone that, like we were discussing just a few minutes before we started recording, that there's always a path, there's always ways. You should never give up, and that mindset is so incredibly important. And so I want to start by telling you a little bit about my story and how I found this little known niche in the land investing space within real estate, because real estate is vast. There's so many techniques, there's so many ways to skin this cat, but our business and our investing journey has really followed our own personal journey. So I think that's probably a good place to start. And so I am originally from Honduras. I'm an immigrant into the US. I came here to the US in 1995. My husband is also an immigrant. He's from Germany. He came here in 1997. We both got, we went to university. We both got jobs. That's traditionally what, you do. We were doing 80-hour weeks, 100% traveling. And we hated our jobs, but we couldn't let go of our jobs because those were our tickets to permanent residency here in the United States, and eventually citizenship. Now we're both U.S. citizens. But when we came, we really, as students, we came here with 2 suitcases and our heart, just full of dreams. And then all of a sudden, we're stuck in this, rat race of a job that we absolutely hate. And we started looking around, for real estate, and started looking at, the possibility of wholesaling houses. And what we found is that probably because we were not born and raised here in this country, for us, wholesaling a house and trying to figure out how to estimate repairs on a kitchen, how to estimate repairs on foundation, on roof, on dealing with, with a mortgage, with mold, with contractors, that was beyond what we could do. And on top of it, we were looking for something that we could do as a side hustle because we were still having our jobs,
Yeah.
And so we stumbled pretty much into this little known niche of land, and we basically flip land like others flip homes, just without the headaches of having tenants, of having, to a call in the middle of the night because my shower or my toilet overflow, or termites or whatever, And so for us, it meant that this, this asset class was really the simplification of real estate for us. We saw incredibly tons of competition, on the housing world, and there was no one really pursuing, land. And to this day, whenever anyone thinks about real estate, what people, what comes to mind is wholesaling homes, flipping, rehabbing. I mean, right now is super sexy multifamily, you know what I mean? Or a buy and hold strategy of single family homes, assisted living. I mean, all kinds of things come into play. Note lending or note investing, anything you can think of, something else will come first to your mind other than land. And so for us, that means an incredible, blue ocean, of really an asset class where there's virtually no competition. We come across sellers that are just ecstatic, to hear that we're wanting to help them with the burden of property ownership when it comes to their land. And so we have developed over the years, now we've been doing this for almost 18 years, and we've developed a methodology where we buy, properties for 5 to 25 cents on the dollar, and we're able to flip those, rather quickly for anywhere between 60, 80, or 100% of market value. If we're wholesaling, we wholesale for 80 or, 60 or 80% of market value, so that there's some in it for the next person, to make a little bit of money as well. Or if we do 100% of market value, usually how we sell those is not for cash, for one-time cash, how we like to call it, but we sell those using seller financing. So we have over the years now been able to create basically, do over 4,000 flips, create over $12 million of notes, and $70,000 in passive cash flow just from notes on land, where we use seller financing. We become the bank, and somebody gives me a down payment, and they make monthly payments, every month for a duration of the note. It may be 5, 10, 15 years, yeah? And what we have started doing just, I would say 5 years ago, is we've started moving, like I was explaining to you earlier in our, in our conversation, we started moving some of those huge cash profits from the land and the cash flow from the land, and moving them into apartment investing, which is a much more long-term passive cash flow. It's like, it's assets that, unless you liquidate the asset, that thing is going to continue to split out cash forever and ever. So, but this is our cash machine. This is kind of like our moat. Land has been the cornerstone of, of what we do, and the wealth and really the legacy that we have been able to build now for my daughter, who's 12 years old, and will probably, continue in real estate, because I know that Jack and I, probably, till the day we die, we're going to be in real estate. We just love the vehicle. It's a perfect vehicle, to have a cash machine and to do that passive cash flow. I don't know of anything else that does both things, you know what I mean? So that's kind of a little bit, our story and what we do when it comes to land flipping.
And I love it. First of all, I got chills when you said, I'm from Uruguay, South America.
Actually, Honduras.
No, I am from Uruguay.
Oh, you are from Uruguay?
I am from Uruguay, South America.
Oh my gosh.
So you just gave me chills when you said, the whole dream. You came with luggage pack, and I'm still getting chills. You can't see because I have a sweater on, but I fully know what, like, that feeling, like you're going to do it. And my whole saying since we were little, my mom would say, we do WIT, and WIT is whatever it takes.
Yeah.
So
love it.
Yeah. So it's, I got chills when you're saying that, and I still can't get rid of them. So I fully get what you're saying. In regards to land, I think you guys have it cornered, because as I mentioned earlier, I know one person that has done land. That's it. That's it. And including myself, the first thing when you see property, I have so much land available to me, and I'm like, what do I do with it? You have to, I think what makes real estate great, like you said, is there's so many ways to making money, and you have to find your niche. And that's great that you guys were able to corner that. And best of all, you're teaching other people how to do it.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
And you know what? It has been an asset class that has allowed us to really live out four freedoms, Vicky. Because when we started, we hated our jobs. We knew that we needed to replace them. When we started, we were all for the freedom of money. Then we started flipping, doing this 100% full time, and we realized, well, darn, we don't have a lot of time. There's a lot of money, but we don't have a lot of time. We started building a team then, and putting a team together. And really being transformational to that team. And then all of a sudden we were able to enjoy the freedom of time. So we had two down, and freedom of relationships, in terms of, choosing who we wanted to work with, who we wanted to help. And now the fourth freedom that we're really living to this, today is really our freedom of purpose, and which is really to now share what was so incredibly transformational for us, for our lives with others, with something that works in any market cycle, that is simple, that is safe, that is predictable, that, that is not a bottom feeding technique, but that can really, change your life. And I'm not talking about years down the road. I mean, you can see returns on your investments within weeks, We have developed like I said earlier, a methodology where we have tested and pretty much perfected, direct marketing when it comes to the land space. And we are able to basically reach out to sellers, to owners of property of vacant land, and using this piece of direct marketing, we call it our performance proven letter. And really on say 100 pieces of mail that go out, we're able to get anywhere between 6 to 15 callbacks, and for everywhere between 750 to 1,000 pieces of mail, we're able to get a deal that is going to net us anywhere between 10 and 15 or even $20,000. So the spreads are the same, if not better, sometimes, to the housing world, where you have to send 10,000 pieces of mail every week for 4 weeks in order to be able to get one deal. And you're having all the competition of everyone else sending mail to, those same people. And now you having to get into a competitive bidding war or have incredible negotiation and sales skills, to sit, in their living room and somehow figure out a way to, to get that homeowner, to sell you their property at a discount. In the land space, we just don't have that. There's no one doing it, and people are ecstatic to hear, to get a letter from me and say, and call me back and say, oh my gosh, I really do, I hate paying property taxes on this piece of land. I either inherited, this piece of land from a parent, or it's a retiree saying, when I was younger, I purchased a property in Florida and I purchased a property in Arizona, where I'm at right now. And we decided to retire in Florida. And now I have this piece of land that none of my kids want, that we're not going to do anything. And I continue paying property taxes on. And pretty much that's how, we are able to find these, I would call them not motivated sellers, but non-wanters. And we're able to buy at such a discount and then turn around and sell, for either, like I said, 60, 80, or 100% of market value. And there's 3 types of property that we specialize on, Vicky, and those are infill lots in the cities. We specialize also in lots in the path of growth. So if you're, in a city of Phoenix, the corridor between Phoenix and Tucson, this is a corridor that is growing. So if I was to give you as an example, that would be lots and land in the path of growth. And then
I've seen that area from the times I've gone through. It's amazing how much has grown, but that's a great idea.
Yeah. And then the third type of property that we are able to basically buy and flip, rather quickly, are recreational properties. People that want to, escape the heat here in the summer in Phoenix and want to have, a cabin up north, where they're at 5, 6, 7,000 feet, and there's a 20-degree difference between, in the summer, or people that want to go hunting, or just all kinds of camping, all kinds of recreational, or they want to have a piece of land, close to the lake so they can park their boat or their RV or whatever. So those are really the 3 types, infill lots within the city, and there my exit strategy, usually my buyer is a builder, and then land in the path of growth usually is either someone that is looking to, looking at it with a little bit of a longer term horizon and is either has an investment, exit in mind, and that's why they want to buy a piece of land, or someone that wants it strictly for recreational purposes, So those are the 3 types of properties that we have been very successful basically in making spreads, like I said, of anywhere between $10,000, $50,000, $20,000 on a piece of land. And just to give you context, like, I'm talking about maybe, 20, 40 acres that I'm able to buy for $5,000 and I'm able to sell for 30,
Wow.
And either for cash, at 100% of market value, or maybe I'm able, for cash, I would discount it probably to 20, but if I was doing seller financing, I would probably say I would go ahead and retail it at market, and I would, sell it at 30 grand. And if somebody was to give me a down payment of $5,000, I have recouped.
You're 100%. You recovered. You
I've recovered
full
my
on
costs, and
recovered.
then they pay me anywhere between $300 and $500 for the next 5-10 years, you know, and all of a sudden I've just created a note. And with these $300-500, I may have taken care of, you know, my car payment, or even maybe part of my mortgage payment, you know what I mean? And so that's how we've been able to build up. And you do that, you know, 100, 200, 300, 400 times. The volume that we've done is 4,000 flips. So that's how we've been able to build this business into something really substantial. And yeah, and like I said, I'm now excited because now you know, we are able to, my husband and I, you know, continue to work together to this day. And now we're able to really live that freedom of purpose and really teach others that, you know, that if you're dissatisfied with your job, that if you know, if you know that you're meant for something more, that there's always paths, there's always doors of opportunity, there's always, you know, new ways to look at things, you know, and if everyone is, you know, that you've heard about, you know, in the real estate space is talking about houses, that I'm going to say that perhaps you should consider something, you know, marching to your own beat and looking at this opportunity, you know what I mean? Because it's like I said, that nobody thinks of it, and therefore that's why, you know, we can dominate, you know, the market with it, at least, you know, here in the Southwest, which is primarily where we work. You know, a lot of our clients work the entire United States, you know, Florida, Nebraska, North Carolina, South Carolina. And so it's something that can be replicated not just here in the Southwest, but pretty much across the US. So yeah, we're excited, you know, because I have so many clients that come to us saying, you know, we've invested so much money, you know, 50, 20, 30, whatever, thousands of dollars, you know, in a program in the housing world, and we never saw anything, you know, anything of it. And for me, I always think of, if I was to get back to my beginner's mind, I almost feel that some of that stuff is not that it doesn't work, but for a beginner, that it's not meant for a beginner, that it's meant for someone who has superior sales skills, who has superior negotiation skills, you know, who can be on the phone. And with the land, we find that because we don't have any competition, I can do everything through direct mail. I can do everything from the phone. I mean, we live in unprecedented times where I don't even have to go and look at a piece of land. I can just use Google Earth and GPS coordinates, and I can basically find the piece of land, and I can market the piece of land using those GPS coordinates as well. And so, and it involves a little bit more than that, of course, in order to be able to sell a piece of land quickly, in terms of creating a beautiful listing, you know, dream building, you know, with your buyer, because if you think about it, you are, at the end of the day, it's a piece of dirt. So you really need to dream build, you know, when it comes to selling the piece of land, you know, but
Exactly.
So, and we've kind of like perfected that, you know, we teach others, like I said, what we do. And I am just ecstatic, you know, we have a Facebook community where every week, pretty much every day, you know, there's you know, people saying, oh my God, I have my first accepted contract, or I just closed on my first deal, 30 grand, boom. And I'm like, yes, this is, you know, this is what it's all about. So many people at the beginning were like, well, if you're doing so great, why are you sharing it? I'm like, because we work about 17 counties nationwide, you know, or well, now we've extended to almost 23 counties, and we haven't even touched the tip of the iceberg of what's possible in terms of opportunities when it comes to land, you know.
And you get to a point that you made enough money and you are looking to build a legacy. I know, like on my scenarios, I want to go find the Vickys of the world. I want to go find the people that have the drive, that are willing to do it and help them. You know, think about when you were starting out, if somebody would have just said, look, go and do this, you would have like taken off, right? So I think it is beyond phenomenal what you're saying. Everything makes sense. And this is one of the things that we talk about. Like I I preach this. It's just being creative. You
Mm-hmm.
have to be creative because you are competing. You're saying, in flips or wholesaling, you're sending a whole bunch of mailers out, and depending on the area, if you sell 10,000 a week, you might not even get a call back. It
Yeah,
just
when it comes to
really,
houses, for sure. Yeah, that's
yeah.
the reality.
It is. It's the truth, and it can get frustrating. And when you're limited on time, you're limited on, I mean, mailing
Resources. Yeah,
resources,
yeah,
mailing costs. That
yeah,
costs money to be sent out. So if you're getting started, you know, one of the things is like I say, I started with nothing. Literally, I was living in the back of the car, so I didn't have money to do mailers, and there's a lot of people that don't. I think this is a great opportunity to come in, learn what you have going, and be able to take off because, like you said, the three areas that you're looking for make sense.
yeah.
Everything makes sense. And my own mind right now, it's like going out there. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is phenomenal. And she's got it cornered. I think it's great. And there's enough business for everybody.
Yeah,
I mean, literally, if we all help each other,
yeah,
we grow so much faster. I made the right connections. We want to have people in our inner circle that are like-minded, that want to help other people get ahead. And that's what I did when I got here, and it worked. By vice versa, I do the same. When I see, I guarantee when I'm going to see that perfect land, I'm going to be calling you and say, I found one,
yes,
It is
absolutely.
amazing, amazing. Now, what if someone wants to learn? Because I think, what I don't like is nowadays most people, when they want to get into real estate, the first thing people will sell them on is wholesaling and flips. Honestly, they're not my favorite things to do.
Yeah,
Do I do them every now and then? Yeah, of course, because they land on my lap. But
yeah,
I don't like that. I love this idea.
yeah.
So
And you know what? Like you said, in the flips, it's great, and we love flipping land. But we realized, that it's basically one-time cash. You work for it once, you get paid once. You want another 15 or $20,000 check, you have to send more direct mail, and there's nothing wrong with that. But eventually, you want to transition into either selling with seller financing, so that you can start building passive cash flow using land, using something that is already simple and that becomes automatic for you. You start using the same vehicle to start creating passive cash flow, and then eventually transitioning into more long-term type of asset classes, like either single family homes, or for buy and hold,
yeah,
or multifamily, large multifamily. But as from a beginner standpoint, it's like the perfect vehicle to get those first two things going, and really transition yourself out of a job, if you have a job,
yeah,
or transition yourself out of whatever you're doing right now, and replace your income with the flips where you have no competition, and then move eventually into the seller financing world, where you can even sell the note. We're actually in conversations right now with a lady that specializes on notes, and looking and see how we can cooperate, because we are creating a lot of our own notes as land flippers, and that's an opportunity to also eventually sell those notes, get
yes,
some of your
yes,
capital, that in equity that you have created, because we're able to, like I said, buy property that we maybe $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, and then we're selling it for 30, 40, 50, 60 grand. And so you're able to create huge chunks of equity that you could then sell the notes and take that cash and start parking it in more long-term type of investments. But it's great. It's definitely a great beginner. And like I said, we've been doing this over the last 18 years. This has worked. We started in 2002, so it worked on its way up. It worked on its way down. It worked, while the market was this. And now, right now, we're again experiencing an incredible hot market where, people, our clients, our students are selling, land like hot potatoes. Everyone is thinking, and I think inherently, I think why we never saw, a dip is that whoever is buying land has a much more longer term horizon in mind. You know what I mean? So both, so our buyers, I don't feel like we saw any change, maybe a 10%, drop in business at the beginning when the market had just turned and people were still in la la land and they didn't want to sell their property for cheap because they thought that it was still at the at the height of the market. But it just means that you're going to be ending up buying, if there's a market correction, you end up buying property for a little bit lower price than you're at right now, and flipping it for maybe a lower spread, but still being able to flip it because whoever's buying it from you is thinking of it with a much more long-term horizon in mind.
And you're right. That's a great point. You do think that if you're going to buy land, you're not thinking about, hey, I'm going to go and build a house tomorrow to sell it the next day. No, you're thinking that's a longer project. So, I mean, I just completely love it. Let me ask you a question. So those that are listening out there, if they want to learn more, join your group and get some mentoring, how will they be able to get a hold of you?
Yeah, so you can join our Facebook group. It's a free Facebook group. My husband and I are there every day, answering people's questions. Our coaches are in there every day. And it's called Land Profit Generator Real Estate Investing Group, Land Profit Generator. And if you go to landprofitgenerator.com, you can get a masterclass, basically a free masterclass on how we do what we do, and give you a little bit more detail as, how do you go about, getting a list of vacant landowners? Where do you go? How to prepare your mailing? How are you going to filter that list? And so we go into a little bit of more detail. If you wanted to go to landprofitgenerator.com, that would be, I think, a great starting point. And then join the Facebook community, because we are very proud, of the community we've been creating there. It's about 6,500 land flippers, very generous with their time, with their knowledge, and you have the opportunity to really stand on the shoulders of of our sacrifices, of our mistakes. You don't have to make them anymore. Like, you ask a question there, and there's 30 people that are going to respond. Do this, and help you really succeed and get you, because I think a lot of people that decide to start, to share a methodology that they may have created, I think where a lot are, I think, missing a piece of the puzzle is in really creating community, and really, because at the end of the day, when you teach mindset, you're going to have your ups and downs like any business, but if you have a community around you that can help you get over those hurdles, not just mental hurdles, but actual hurdles of, oh my gosh, my buyer is trying to back out. What can I do? What can I say? There's an entire community there, to help you and coach you and guide you through.
And that's key. I mean, can you figure it out yourself? Yeah, of course you can.
Yeah.
Through a lot of trial and errors. I mean, I did it, and there's a lot of people out there that can, but why bother? Go and get yourself some.
Exactly. When you can collapse time and you have people around you that are a few steps ahead of you and that can help you, why not? Absolutely.
Exactly. It saves you that much time. I think that's amazing. If you can go and repeat it once more time, we are just about out of time, but this was amazing. I love it. I'm going to join. I'm really excited over this whole thing.
Thank you very much,
if you
Vicky.
can just repeat it.
Yeah, so you can go to landprofitgenerator.com, or you can go to the Land Profit Generator Real Estate Investing Group on Facebook. Those are both free resources, free places where you can go and find out a little bit more about what this whole land flipping, thing is all about. But I think if you go there and any day, you know, you're watching a, you know, a replay, or, you know, I don't know when you're listening to this recording, you go into Facebook, and I guarantee you that the day that you go in there, there's going to be a success story from it. Someone saying, you know, I just did a deal, or I just got a contract, or I just found my buyer. You know, it's a daily occurrence, and we're very proud of that community.
I love it. I love it. You are phenomenal. Thank you again for being on the show. It was a great pleasure, and I'm excited. Everyone, just go ahead and join. I think you guys cornered the market, and it's great that you're teaching others on what to do. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much, Vicky. My pleasure.
Bye-bye.